Yes, yes, yes. So, greetings, y'all. You're tuned to Cosmic Root Show, and you're here with Brother Siayome, aka Abon Karam, Cosmical Mystic, and you're tuned to Bless Radio 1. You can tune in via www.blessradio.org, or you could try the Tune In app, or you can tune in live right now via YouTube. Now, there is some technical issues been going on, so something to do with won't even bother going into that. But in case you may be hearing or not hearing, or it's cutting in and out, it's just technical. What's not working on that? So yes, so soul brothers and sisters, last strong. I end up talking about basically the mindset and emotional pattern. And yeah, the so so I'm kind of gonna reiterate on some of the stuff I did mention last with when we had this new moon in Libra, and I was talking about a relationship with oneself. Well, it's a lot of these energies and a lot of intensity going on, and a lot of changes. It's like the energies are really urging and really pushing forth a lot of changes going on here. But before I go into that, I'm just going to do a little summary about what I was talking about last Tuesday. I was mentioning about the mindset and emotional pattern and how they are your creative tools and they're working in your life whether you intend them to or not. And the mindset, especially in these times, to understand that your mindset and emotional patterns, these are your creative tools in how we experience our reality or how we vibrationally uh, sync ourselves with basically what we are picturing and giving power to through our consciousness. Excuse me, somebody there? Oh, for hearing somebody in the studio, they were saying something. But yeah, so I'm just gonna hit the ground running here and just flow with how this comes through. Yo, I can hear some folk in the studio here. Yeah. Okay. So so what's happening now is I was saying about the ultimate relationship is with ourselves because of all these. You see, you got these energies that are coming up inside of people. It's in the collective. It's also in comes down to the individual. So we're feeling things in the collective. There's a lot of tension. There's a lot of intensity of energy, and we're coming into an Aries full moon um, on the 13th of October. So that's, in a strong time. So we had the new moon in Libra, okay, prior to that. And I was saying it's about a new relationship with oneself or moving into a change where your relationships are changing, okay, as your relationship with yourself is changing. So we're moving into this Aries full moon, and the full moon can bring illumination. As you can see that when you got a full moon, it illuminates the dark, the night sky, okay? So it's representing something being illuminated in our unconscious and coming up to our conscious awareness in order to be acknowledged. So, or something we haven't realized, and now the potential to raise our consciousness through, how can I say, through this illumination, okay? There's feelings of activation of what's within, what's under the surface. There's this energy under the surface, and it's like it can't be no longer held within. It's a deep realization for a deep change is going on, deep realization for deep change within us all, right? Within many. It's collectively, and it's it's collectively and it's individually. So there's a lot of tension out there. There's a lot of tension. Yeah, just had to put in a replot something in there. So there's a lot of tension going on because there's a lot of change, and there's a force to change. It's like you can't remain the way you were before. This is the impelling. This is the energies rising up from within. So the energies, because everything is energy and vibration. All is consciousness, all is correspondence, all is vibrations. So the energies, y'all. I mean, trying to hold these things down, but things. It's a time what we're experiencing where you have to face certain stuff because this full moon is going to bring up and illuminate what's what is in the unconscious to be now made conscious. It's a deep realization of something coming up and rising up from the within. So you can't sit on this energy. You know, it's a masculine energy because you're dealing with Aries and it's governed by Mars, and you're dealing with this warring kind of an energy where you it's about free expressiveness, but it's also about what you would stand up and fight for. Is this need to is this need to raise our consciousness, to raise your consciousness up to realize yourself at a higher level. There's something in yourself that really needs, there's an energy. When I say yourself, I'm talking about within the interior of what we're going through at this moment and this time. It's all moving and directing towards this strong push for change. You can't stay the way you were. It's a big push for change. So I have some notes here. Let me just go over some of these notes so I can stay on point with it. So this feeling is not comfortable, right? There's this unsettled energy. And there's something coming up that's being activated. There's energies being activated from within that's coming up to the surface. It's bringing up what's been underneath what you can't sit on anymore. So there's a feeling of uncomfortableness, there's unsettledness, because these energies are saying there's something that needs to be resolved on a deeper level. And there's the soul's urge, because dealing with the soul's incarnation intention, because all of this is really about your soul's intention. So with all these energy activations that are coming in, more intense now, it's the soul's urge that has to move through this. So what is the soul's urge? The soul's urge is for it's about very deep emotional growth and maturity. There's a level of emotional growth that has to take another stage. So we got energy, strong energy. Pluto went direct on the 3rd of October. And it's like Pluto is that energy, which again, all of these, what I'm saying, all of these planetary forces, all of these archetypes, star constellation, and sign archetypes, all of these are aspects of what's within your own consciousness. These are all aspects within you. You carry the whole universe within you. You are the universe. So I'm repeating that because it's understanding that all of this is taking place within you. You have forces Okay, you have energy centers. You have an inner world where you have, well, they talk about the seven chakra systems, but really, if you chakra means wheel, so you're dealing with these vortex of energy within inside of yourself, which are also represented by archetypes. And these signs, when we talk about the sun signs and so forth, these are these energy centers, okay? And so you got the planetary movements, which is actually representing the forces getting activated within oneself as we're moving through this um, expansion process, okay? The evolutionary intention of the soul, the true eye, the eye of awareness, not the eye of the mind or the eye of the body, as one is thinking as a person, because these are just creative tools for the eye of awareness to express itself through, to expand and to express itself more fully. So this is the life force creative intelligence within thyself. So there is an there is a big pressure to change. It's like basically the whole universe, you can say, is saying you must change. Okay? Must change. And there's no way there's changes in the world. You can see the whole heap of changes going on in the world. These changes are taking place on the collective level. It's taking place on the individual level. It's taking place on relationships level. So changes are taking place collectively. The changes are taking place within oneself, and the changes taking place within one's relationships, because everything is really about relationships. How and the quality, or how you're relating to that which you're having a relationship with, the other, the quality of it, the simplify. It's either harmonious or there's a lot of discord. And there's a big surge of energy, activation of energy, which is saying that this change is imminent. Okay? This change is imminent. So, because you're not meant to stay the same forever. You're not meant to stay the same. Everything goes through life's consciousness intelligence. Its purpose, its intention is to grow. It grows, it expands. It doesn't there's no stagnation. You know, you don't remain as a 5-year-old for the rest of your days. You grow, you see? So growth is a part of change, and change is a part of growth. And not all of us kind of can embrace change in a welcoming way, because of the mindset and emotional patterns we hold. It's the beliefs that make change quite difficult for many folk, and because it's just how it's perceived. But change is inevitable. Okay, within time and space, change is inevitable. So what's happening is something's rising up within, something in the self, to understand oneself at a higher consciousness level. It's requiring maturity. And as I said, it's the soul's incarnation intention. The intention of the soul is to rise above, or rise up through all this pressure, rise up through all the energies that are very rampant now. So the energies are actually impelling this change, but they don't compel you, because you have your mind, you have your creative tools, right? It's about your own mind. How are you telling your mind what to think? How are you telling your feelings how to feel? Okay? Are you directing your mind? And how are you programming your mind? Through the thoughts that you give it instruction, because your mind listens to you, it's following you, okay? But a lot of folk, we be conditioned to identify with the mind and the body, and not realize that when you're saying my mind or my body, you're actually also acknowledging that there is a possessor of the mind and the body, okay? So the mind and the body isn't you. The mind and the body is possessed, or is a vehicle for, or a creative instrument for the being, the divine being that you are, the divine principle, the creative life force intelligence. And it's the creative life force intelligence that you are that is created to form what we call our body and the mind when you're dealing, and your emotional pattern when you're dealing with your creative tools, in order to use it as a vehicle to express and experience more of itself. So there's this there's this need to know thyself, and we're on Blessed Radio, which is know thyself. And you know the thing with really what this ultimate knowing thyself is on the Karnak walls, temple walls in ancient Kemet, where this statement know thyself originated, before the Greeks took it up and just gave you the know thyself part, or man know thyself. There was more to that statement. It was an instruction and a directive statement, pointing you to the direction, pointing you in the right direction towards finding and knowing yourself. So the full rendition that was on the temple walls wasn't just man know thyself. It was know thyself and you will know the universe and the creative forces of life. So that statement, when you hear the fullness of it, it also is telling you who you are and what you are. Okay? And really, ultimately, in this time where we're moving through now, if you don't know the creative source, or if I simplify it, you got folk that say, you have to know God, or have to worship God and all of that. But let me say it in a different way. If you don't know God, which is the true nature of the all originating creative spirit of life and light, the source of all existence. Now think, this is the source of your existence too. This is where your individuality is being drawn out from. This is where your own personal consciousness also originates from, the source of all consciousness, universal consciousness, okay? So there is always an origin and a source from which anything came. And like all the branches on the tree, all the branches on a tree is connected to the trunk, which is linked to the roots. And therefore, all the branches on the tree is connected to the source of where its life sap is coming from. Every single one of those branches on the tree is connected, has its connection to its individual link to the absolute source, or its origin, okay, of itself, in order for it to continually receive the life force energy, the life sap that moves through that tree and keeps it full with vitality. So each one of us is an individualized extension projection of source consciousness, and we derive our individual personal consciousness from that source. So therefore, the origin and the source of whom and what we is has its beginnings, has its, not even beginnings, because you're dealing with a timeless state. But the point being is the forms have a beginning, but you and the forms have an origin too. And it's the same origin, the same source as your individualized soul incarnating into a physical vehicle, as an individualized expression of the one absolute creative source, the creative consciousness, intelligence, the divine life principle, okay? So to know thyself is a thing that if you do know yourself, you will know God. You would know the nature of what the true universal creative source of all that is, okay? So if you know yourself, you will know that source. And if you know the source, you will know yourself. So really, when we're dealing with know thyself, this is the ultimate realization to be waking up to in this time, which is not about what we hold, what we use on the earthly plane to define ourselves, because using anything on the earthly plane to define yourself is limiting and basically not the source or the origin of who you is and who you are. Even the planet, this whole planet has been drawn out from a higher power. What's the source and the origin of even this planet? And we're not just talking about, okay, well, suns, and out of the suns come the planets. What's the origin of this whole entire universe? You see, there is a source to everything. And you got the source, you got the source of all. You see, there's a statement, there's a saying, all in all. You see? So, to know thyself is to know, when you know yourself, you will know the universe. You will know the creative forces of life. So you see that you cannot not know yourself and not know the creative source of your being. So if you don't know the creative source of your being, you don't know yourself. And if you don't know yourself, you don't know the creative source of your being. You see what I'm saying? You got people that could turn around from a religious perspective and say, I know God, they know God, they know God. But the thing is that, okay, that's fine. You're going to know God, but if you know God and not know yourself, then you don't know God, you see? Because a lot of folks, this belief of separation and not even knowing the true nature of what has been called God, or really what it denotes, is the origin of all existence. But the word doesn't really fully mean that. The word itself means to invoke God. But then it's one O, it's a letter O, here, short of good. And you hear the term, God is good. So really, you're dealing with the source of all positive energy, all goodness, you see? All life, the source of and origin of all existence, which includes you, yeah? So knowing thyself is really about waking up to the ultimate connection with the Most High within yourself, the source within, the all-originating creative spirit of life and light within you, as you. You see, expressing itself in an individuated expression. You see, you're an individuated expression of the undifferentiated source of all existence. So you're dealing with cosmic mind, cosmic consciousness, and intelligence. So you're not just dealing with a phantom and smoky, nebulous stuff. You're dealing with a deeper reality of yourself that you carry within, who you truly are. So the energies in the universe now and the intensity of the universal tides, as the increase of these activation of energies that you feel starting to rise up within you, it's in the collective. It's happening in the individual, and it's happening within the relationships of the individuals. You see? So there's no running from it. But the thing is like there's a lot of unconsciousness and not understanding the nature of what's behind what's going on. So it's your mindset and emotional pattern that determines what you're going to be creating, where you're going to be in yourself, to what vibrational frequency you're going to be on, to what you're going to be drawn to, what's going to be drawn to you, or what you're going to be moving away from, or what's maybe moving away from you. So this is an intense time where when you're dealing with change is imminent. Yeah? This is basically the thing. Change is imminent, So I'm getting some messages here where I think not everybody's, I'm getting some messages, some are not able to get on the YouTube. I'm going to send a link. Okay, but it's all going to be recorded, and I will forward this on afterwards, after it's recorded, for those who may not be able to tune in right now tonight. I'm not sure what's going on with things, with the technology. What you're dealing with is interesting, because we're having a Mercury in Scorpio, which is getting ready to retrograde on October the 31st till November the 20th. So Mercury is dealing with communication and technology, okay, travel and what's not. But it's also about the communication, mainly about your own mental framework. and which retrograde is going is in Mercury is in Scorpio. So there is there is going to be basically, as I said, the soul's intention is to rise up through all this pressure. Okay, the intensity of the energies. There's a lot of unsettled feelings right now, and with Mercury retrograding that we're going to be getting on 31st of October, it means that there is a need to go deep, facing various fears, going deep into the unconscious, okay, oneself. And there's going to be the face needing to face certain fears, going into the unconscious, and also tapping into areas of untapped power or personal power, untapped power within oneself, because Scorpio is also about empowerment, but the power you find within yourself, not the power you try to gain by trying to have power over other people through manipulative, NLP, this, that, and, all of this. You're trying to basically deal with unauthentic power. When you're trying to have power, some people try to empower themselves through other people. Yeah. Like I was saying about this energy, this full moon, in Aries. Aries is fire. It's masculine, and and therefore there is there's this energy that cannot be sat on anymore. So there's going to be this feeling to what are you going to stand up? The need to stand up, okay, for yourself. What are you standing up about? What are you willing to fight for? Now, I'm not saying this as physically happen to be on a physical thing, but that can happen. The way this energy may not be able to be contained and worked through by individuals, or especially in collective, it could explode into, there's a lot of conflict, but there's a need to really try to resolve and talk about, what's going on within. But there's a lot of tension, as I said, a lot of uncomfortable energy, and things could fly off, okay? That's why there's a deep need for emotional yearning, for more emotional maturity and growth, you see, because it's always the soul you need to look at to understand the direction, to flow with these energies, yeah? So, you know, so, so there's a lot of interconnected stuff going on, but it's all about these energies. There's energies that are being activated within are rising up to come to the surface, and there's going to be facing fears, more fears inside, because you're dealing with the unconscious, and erroneous ideas, what beliefs we may be carrying in there, the emotional pattern and the mindset, as I mentioned already. So there's going to be a need to really step into a transmutation, like a metamorphosis, from a caterpillar to a butterfly. The universe itself is pushing folks to change, you see, because you are the universe, and it's the universal intent really that is winning out, regardless of whatever resistance, is being put up within. So there's a lot of interior, battles going on as well. So yeah. So it's an illumination. It's a time where basically a full moon is where it's also the opportunity, or the opportunity to have some things illumined in your consciousness, some realizations, or some new beginnings as well, because you got Aries as Aries is the first sign in the disc of life, and it's about one's intrinsic identity. The motto you have for Aries is "I am," and it's the divine spark we all carry within ourselves. And Aries is about the freedom and independence needed to discover one's intrinsic self. So there is a change in how you even perceive yourself that is taking place. This is some deep, deep in a core transformational energies and transmutational energies going on. So the energies are feeling uncomfortable. There's something that needs to be resolved. There's a soul urge for very deep emotional growth, and there is a change in ourselves, in our sense of self, the sense of self, the change in your sense of self. That's what's occurring. So your intrinsic nature is really dealing with your innate self. As I said, Aries represents the divine spark. So your intrinsic nature and identity is associated with the divine spark, not the conditioned psychological emotional self through the social, cultural, and societal conditioning. And in the previous show, I did say about, what does it mean to become like a child again, you see? And how a lot of things that is, a lot of allegorical meanings have been interpreted literally, and therefore, a lot for centuries, a lot of us have been holding on to a lot of misinterpreted interpretations and misunderstanding of what we have been made to believe certain things meant. Okay, some people, just and all of the people are confused. But I did explain that the allegorical meaning of or the spiritual interpretation of to be like a child again. You can only enter the kingdom of heaven when you become like a child again, right? So, and heaven is within you, which is talking about your higher state of awareness, okay? Your source of being. You carry the divine principle within you, okay? So what's happening is, so what this breaks down to is that what it means to be like a child again. It means that there needs to be an effort to rid oneself of one's mental conditioning. Before your minds were cluttered up with all these beliefs, prejudices, resentment, you know, condemnations, criticisms, ambition, ego drive. Before all of that, before you started to accumulate all of those worldly things in your mind and cluttered it up, before that, as a child, your mind was clear, open, full of wonder, and innate faith or trust within that the non-physical source of being. And you can look at that child and we was all babies, but look how a child has so much trust. You're holding a child in his hand, it's just sleeping so comfortably. Yeah. And as I said, look, you got big people that you wouldn't trust yourself in their hands. You know what I'm saying? So it's about decluttering the mind and making the effort, because there has to be personal effort, to ridding your mind from the mental conditioning, ridding yourself from the mental conditioning you have been exposed to. You see, in order to have that receptacle mind to receive spiritual understanding. Because a lot of things that confuse folk is based upon them just limited to the carnal mind, the rational, intellectual thinking. And therefore, the reason why things were in parables, or you have to understand the spiritual interpretation of a passage or a drama saga, is because these hmm, these a lot of the psychological dramas and the stories you see in scriptures were never meant to be taken literally. They were allegorical, representing a deeper meaning to do with your consciousness, to do with you. It's all about a story of you waking up to the diamond self. Okay, that's in Buddhism. So knowing thyself. If someone says they know themselves and they don't know the source of their being, they do not know themselves. And if you know, don't know the source of your being, you don't know the source, you don't know yourself. And if you don't know yourself, you don't know the source of your being. Because let me reiterate, recapitulate what I said a few moments ago, a few minutes ago when I said about the word, the phrase, the paragraph, man know thyself, what we hear or what we see read, and people believe it originated with the Greeks. This is an ancient statement as an instruction to the initiates entering into, the mystery systems. Those who want to now know the real true, of the truth of the source of their being. Okay, they're moving away from the carnal and outer world. Interpretation, perspective, and illusion. You want to get into the innermost reality, to get into the innermost self of you. You see what I'm saying? To wake up to the true reality of yourself and liberate your soul from the illusion. You see, the fetters that bound the soul or bind the soul. This is what you want to be liberated from. So the statement, man know thyself, and you will know the universe and the creative forces of life, is telling you whom and what you are. But it's about experiential knowledge in order to now know yourself. You can say you you can hear a statement and mentally say, yeah, I accept that. But that's not knowing. Knowing is experiential. When you experience yourself as awareness, aware as awareness, and that is the I that you're aware of, your awareness of being. This is taking you now into your intrinsic nature and your authentic self. But if the I is misplaced with, your mind or your body or the persona or personality which has been constructed that you believe yourself to be, then that I is being displaced. You see, it's a displaced identification. It's a misplaced identity. So the attachment to the illusions then becomes stronger through these force identifications. And you notice identification, you see? And everyone in the world on this planet has an I, yeah? And I don't mean the two you got in your head. I mean this I, this awareness of being, this awareness of self, where when it comes to addressing oneself, everyone has to acknowledge the I within themselves, you see? So this all-seeing I, all-pervading I, this is how even that term came about to infer that you're dealing with this eternal I that is within all. As you hear, all is within all. You see? The all in one and one in all. So you're dealing with the relationship of the individual with the whole. The individual is an individualized expression of the whole, and it's one with the whole at the same time. So I and the Father are one are statements that are that's basically saying that. You see? Unity consciousness. You're one with the source of your being, and your source of your being is one with you. You see? And then we begin to have the correct relationship with our mind and our body and our emotions, and realize that all these are servants and creative vehicles for the I, the infinite I, the divine I. You see, the all originating creative I. Yeah. to express itself through these vehicles. This is how to know itself, experience its own self. So that's the innermost self of you to wake up to. So this is why these energies are activating more intensely. They're activating within, energies within, and it's 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 how can you say, it's driving this. The whole universe is driving this direction forward because life always moves forward, okay, and ever more expansive into more fuller expression. You see, so the nature of life is to move forward. It's growth. You see, it nourishes, nutrition provides nutrition. Heals, regenerates, protects, perfect fulfillment of every need, all working harmoniously within a divine system of law and order. Okay, this is how life intelligence operates. It's an intelligent designer. Your body cells, yeah, the cells in your body have all been arranged and organized and designed in an intelligent way. Hence, you got this temple called your body. So you're dealing with the intelligence of the divine life force is an is an orderly sequence of growth. Yeah, it moves. The intelligence also operates in an orderly sequence of growth, building upon what's before and building what and building and building. You see, improving, or not even improving, it's continually expressing, expanding itself of what has been before. So it's building out of that which has gone before and expounding and expanding and expanding into more fuller expression of itself into infinity. And that is what you are. You see, these vehicles, the mind, the body, the emotions, are the creative vehicles. As I said, your mindset and emotional pattern is the creative tools. Okay, your creative tools, and they are working, and they work in your life whether you intend them to work or not. You see, so you're a creative being, consciously or unconsciously. Obviously, to be conscious is going to be far more better than being unconscious, because this is where people believe that there is a God in the sky that they're waiting for to come and stop all the crap that's going on the planet. You see, when that's a being unconscious, because you're the creator. You're the creator doing all this stuff. Everybody's got a decision. They're using their creative tools to create, better or worse for themselves and others. And when you're dealing with collective minds that are resonating on the same wavelength, then what you're doing is, like, wherever you are in the world, if you're on the same wavelength of other minds that are on the same wavelength, thinking, say it's destructive type of thoughts, then that gets amplified in you too, because you're going to be part of that collective. You're amplifying more of that negativity. You see, this is the reason why in the collective consciousness, it's usually fear and survival. Okay, and you can feel the weight of that. Especially in the early rising of the day. When you're rising from your slumber, you could feel this weight. And if you don't ask yourself the question and take responsibility for your own energy and ask the question, is this mine? Is this mine? Why am I feeling this? Is this mine? Because the moment you ask that, your awareness comes in, yeah, and it lifts from you, because you don't have to own what doesn't belong to you. You choose what vibrational frequency, what vibrational offering you are going to put out, rather than just being one who absorbs the energies from others and the collective, and then you don't even know what you feel anymore. You see what I'm saying? Because you're not making any personal effort to be responsible for your own energy. You see, or to get into a more sophisticated knowledge of who and what you really are. You see, so this thing is deep. Knowing thyself is knowing the source of your being. You cannot know yourself and not know your source of being. We are moving into a course which is I know. Okay? So it's about really knowing source of being, which is within, not the sky god business. It's about really waking up, tearing the wrapper off, pulling off the peel from the fruit, and getting in touch with the fruit, not the peel. You see what I'm saying? You eat the sweet, not the wrapper, you know? But you got to unwrap the sweet. Yeah? You catch what I'm saying? You got to peel the peel to get to the fruit. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about identifying with the peel. It's about knowing the fruit, you see. And you're the fruit, you know. Get into the inner core and essence of yourself. So this is, you know, this is the energies, y'all, the cosmic weather report. And yes, a strong change in our sense of self is going on. So there's a lot of tension, a lot of, you know, and the soul's intention is to rise up, as I said, above, to rise up through the pressure, okay? To rise up through all of the energies rampant now. This is why it's about really getting in touch, getting deeper into yourself, facing these fears, the unconscious, the things in your subconscious, because your unconscious is the subconscious. And, you know, you have to face these things when asked to what they may call shadow work or doing the inner child. But a lot of your stuff it doesn't just come from the inner child, from your present incarnation and your childhood. There's, you know, your soul carries over memories of this soul, its prior lives, you know. So, you know, uh, you got to go deeper than just dealing with the subconscious. You see, you gotta understand that the subconscious is, or the unconscious is storing things not just from this life but prior. Okay, so what is happening here now with all these energies is also to purge yourself, purge the unconscious, transform, release all these energies that were attracting a lot of the negative in you, to you, because you're holding these things in your subconscious, unconscious to yourself, which could be going way back. When I say way back, way into prior lifetimes, you know? And, you know, I know how that may sound to some folk, but look, man, you're eternal life, eternal being, you know? You know, you don't just have one garment, you know? Some people say you only have one life, you know, and, you know, it depends how you interpret that. There is one absolute source, and that life is eternal. And therefore, you being an individualized expression of that one life, that eternal life, means that you don't just have one life or experience. You know, you have in multiple. Okay, okay, because that is the nature of source, to create forms for the vehicles as your physical form to experience and express itself through. You know, waking up to who you really are. So, and what you really are. So, full moon in Aries is about I am, intrinsic identity. So, the change in the sense of self, there's a healing needing to take place very much to this sense, this self. You know, you're going to wake up and more transform, move more into, because the sense of how you may have been perceiving yourself up to this point is it's like a pair of, it's like some clothes no longer fits. You don't, it no longer, you no longer feel comfortable in them clothes anymore. You know, you want to change. Okay, so I'm giving something simple as that. But as you can change your clothes, you can also change your mind, and you also hear that term, changing your mind. You see, so yeah, I've gone into this in this way. This evening, doing a summary with what I was talking about yesterday, but a very short one, making you realize, look, your mindset and emotional patterns are your creative tools, yeah? And they work in your life whether you intend them to work or not, because you are a creative being. The creative being one's looking for out in the sky, separate away from them, that don't exist, yeah. You know what I mean? The creator truly does exist, but not in the way that, you know, religious and theologically, and, you know, person, you know, even a personality believing it's that. That's not what source is at all. That's man's ego, carnal mind interpretation of things. But, you know, there's a saying, only the son knows the father, and only the father can know the son. And these are esoteric mysteries dealing with your innermost self. It's not your surface conversation or your surface things you're saying. It's what you're saying in the innermost self of you. Yeah, that is what Source hears and what Source responds to. Yeah, because the Son is really you speaking to your innermost, your source of being, the Son speaking to the Father, and what the Son speaks, asks the Father for in secret. Father synonymous with the source of being. Okay, what you ask your source of being in secret is what the source of being um, then manifests for you openly. Gives you manifested in the physical. So it's in the non-visible first. Okay, and then the form is the non-visible expressing itself, manifesting itself. You see, into physical reality, so to speak. Yeah, spirit and matter is two wholes of one thing. You see, it's one unified whole. Spirit and matter is one is the cause, the other is the effect. But this is about knowing the science of your being rather than knowing who's the latest celebrity or what next episode in EastEnders being running. You see, because if that's what you're feeding your mind and emotions with, then input output. But you're the one who's supposed to be directing your mind. It's your mind. It's my, when you say my mind, so you're supposed to be directing your mind. You're supposed to be directing your body. It's my body, okay? Unless you're not taking no responsibility for directing and how you use your creative tools. And it's time to wake up out of the ignorance. So, illumination, full moon. So you got Aries, which is the opposite sign to Libra. Libra's about relationships, and Aries is about the self. But here it goes. You have to know yourself. And when you get to know yourself, you end up having a relationship with yourself, right? Libra. And that relationship you have with yourself becomes the vibration that draws to you reflections of or energetic mirrors to you of whom those who reflect the relationship you're having with yourself. So Libra is about harmony. Okay, this is what it's really about. Even though there's a lot of imbalance and inharmony, which Libra ends up having to work through in order to find the balance within themselves. And more time we talk about relationships outside of ourselves rather than the ultimate relationship, the one with our own self. Okay, so you got Aries, which is your intrinsic identity, right? And then you've got Libra, which is about relationship. So it's about to have a relationship with yourself that then puts you in the steed to draw to you the harmonious, loving relationships that you are having with yourself. You catch what I'm saying? Because I said on the show last Tuesday that we do not attract to ourselves what we want. We attract to ourselves what we believe about ourselves at the deepest level and what we believe about our world. So, you're in this earthly dimension, which becomes a manifestation of your beliefs. You see. So this is why it's to get even past all these beliefs, which are programs, to get to know thyself and to be in tune with the only reality, which is the divine creative living intelligence of all life. You see. So yeah. So I've been rolling on there, and yeah. What I'm looking to do. Hang on a second. I'm pressing something here. Right. Okay. Just listening to myself. Make sure something here is working properly. So yes, y'all. Y'all be, there's this restless energy, there's this uncomfortable or unsettling energy, and there's basically the universe is actually behind behind this imminent need to change. It's Resisting it will just prolong, make things very uncomfortable, you see, because there's a lot of tension, inner tension with a lot of these energies. And it's pulling you inward in order to go deeper within yourself to resolve these creative tension points or stress points. So things can fly off and get volatile, you know, if, you know, because there's a need to raise to a higher consciousness of yourself, to raise to a higher level of awareness in yourself. This is what all these energies are pushing, folk towards in their own unique way, in the collective, within the individual, and within the individual's relationships. You know what I'm saying? So, whatever you're focusing your energy on, you're amplifying. You see? So, what is it? Do you want love, harmony, peace? Joy, happiness, health, success, wealth, and prosperity, or do you want, drama? Conflict, interior conflicts get reflected outside, you know, imbalancement, pain, suffering. I mean, do you want that? I mean, everybody's choosing, consciously or unconsciously. But when you're conscious, when you're doing this consciously, you realize that it's you who makes the choice what relationship you want to have with yourself, and what is it that you want to draw into your experience based upon how and what you believe about yourself and how you feel about yourself. And the self, this is why knowing your intrinsic self, the source of all goodness, yeah, knowing the nature of that intelligence, the origin of source that you've drawn your being out from, the source of all existence, that's in nature. That's the true divine, all, pure positive energy and all goodness. All of those virtuous qualities, this is your true nature. But it's about having your thoughts and your emotions aligned with your intrinsic self, the move with the life force intelligence within you, rather than the egoic mind trying to still try to achieve things in the world, because there's a belief of not being enough. You got people that acquire big houses, cars, maybe, has to have the most finest car, some, dapper thing, got big house, and, or even, got a lot of these possessions, got a lot of these things, thinking this is what's going to make them feel enough. And they come to realize none of these things, even fame. Some folk who don't feel lovable think, well, hang on a minute, maybe I can go and, if I become famous, I'm not saying this is the motivation behind everyone who finds himself in that, in that area of activity, but there is a lot of that going on. This is why a lot of them end up eventually either commit suicide or get killed by, drugs, overdoses and stuff like that, because it's like, you see, if you're carrying a feeling that you're not enough or you're not lovable, this is your as I said, look, your mindset and your creative patterns and your emotional patterns is your creative tool. Yeah, your mindset and emotional patterns is your creative tools. Okay, that's active and working in your life, whether you want them to or not. So you want to acquire more things, or you want to get more certification, more qualifications. You get some folk, they're always like, I gotta do something. They're always want to get another qualification, or they're always trying to acquire more things that they feel that this thing's going to make them feel the way they want to feel. You jump up on stage, have thousands, millions of people like, wow, you know what I'm saying? And you think, yeah, man, this is going to make me feel, lovable, or, but then you find you got all of that and you still feel the same inside. You see what I'm saying? So this is where then, if you don't feel enough, that void or that emptiness cannot be filled with things. It has to it can only be filled with the presence of realizing that you are that. You're denying yourself of, you know what I'm saying?
You already are enough, and you are lovable. But if you believe that you are not, then as a man thinketh in his heart, so shall he become. So you see, this is what the game's been on this plane all this time. While folk look outside themselves, believing God or the devil, some separate type of entity to themselves, is is who you outside of yourself, separate. This is what is responsible for what's going on and who's going to save you or who led you astray. It was something separate to you. These erroneous beliefs, yes, see, keeps people creating ignorantly. Forgive them for they know not what they do. You see, it's what you're doing on this planet. It's what we collectively are creating. You see, there's no creator outside of yourself that is allowing atrocities and what's not to take place. Where you get people saying, "I'm angry at God," for allowing what's not to happen. All these bombs, missiles, people kill themselves, all this type of atrocity, and. But it's people doing that, the way they think, what they believe, their fears, and all of that. It's not. It's not what you want to transfer responsibility into some fictitious belief, that you're being brought up to believe, or what is being used to manipulate the consciousness, to control the ignorant, you see? Religion, theologian interpretations, that stuff, and other things, you know, that operate on that line. So this is about breaking all shackles, busting all chains. This is the day, this is the time, you see? Cosmic time. So yeah, this is how I'm this is how I'm coming over to this evening. Gonna try something here. I'm going to see if now there's this thing here I'm gonna be looking to do and see if this works. Um, mm, um, Okay, so let me see. Let me draw a selection of something out here, and mm, yeah. So, gee whiz. I'm looking for something on this computer thing, y'all. And mm, so yeah, let me see. So all these energies, these transformational energies from the inside out, y'all. This is yeah, this stuff is going to be bringing up some things, but it's about a deep need for maturity, more emotional maturity. It's about the soul, your soul's yearning for more growth and expansion. Your soul's yearning to break free from these fetters, you see. So, mm, so yes, soul brothers and sisters. So there's this, change is imminent, and as you can see, it's happening all over the place, yeah. And with change brings up a lot of fear, you see. With change is also this survival, this on that, and the collective consciousness. That's a lot of what's going on. So you don't want to be in that frequency. So this is why in this time there's those who come in knowing sources within them, knowing that the ultimate connection is within. And soon, all this information that, is on YouTube, you got all this information on Google, all of this, social media, everybody's popping up a video, everybody's just putting up this, everybody reacts to what they see, they don't understand, well, hang on a minute. What's behind this, So with all of this all of this reaction, and a lot of the stuff is negative, a lot of it, you can feel it. Yeah. All of this is being amplified by those who actually, put their energy in those directions. And then you're going to experience more of those uncomfortable feelings. And then you're going to drawn into physical manifestations of what represents those vibrations. You see what I'm saying? Right? So you either choose, it may seem cliche, love, but it's how hmm, it's how folks who've turned away from love, which is the life force within you, is feels about love, you see, because love is you. It's the life force, energy, intelligence. Mm, it's not the counterfeit version of stuff you've been given and programmed with through the TV, and the Mills and Boons and whatnot magazines. But there's coming a moment, yeah, where all of this information, people are going to get more confused because if you keep looking outside of yourself for you know if you keep looking outside of yourself to these forced external authorities to tell you what to think, what to believe, what to eat, what to wear, where to go, what not to go, what to do, what not to do, you understand? You're looking outside yourself, and you're hearing all of this stuff on YouTube, and then many people are saying different things to something, and if you don't start to realize you got to tap inward, you got to go in for your inner guidance, connect with source, okay, the creative divine intelligence, the all-knowing intelligence within you, you see, for your guidance. If you ain't going to be doing that, you're going to be left out there very confused and looking for somebody to tell you, you know what to do, what to feel, what to think, what to eat, what to wear. This is how you got a lot of folk. Yeah? And all of that's gonna get cash clapped up. All of that's gonna get too much. And it's gonna create more people confused. They don't know what to believe. What's the truth? Because you're looking outside yourself for it. So we're moving into the time Aquarius. I know where it's those souls, the generation I come through as well. We already know that source is within, and this is those of us who are going to just help guide you back home. You see, because guidance can only be found within yourself. As things start to escalate, you see, you ain't gonna know who the heck to trust. You don't trust these politicians, huh? And already you got a lot of things going on in the government that's just creating a lot of anxiety for a lot of folk. Those who put their faith in governments, where you're transferring your energy to, your trust, You see, so this is what people are doing on, beknownst to themselves, the real extent of what they are allowing, you see what I mean? Facilitating, you see. So these energies, the cosmic activations, the transits, all of this are activation points, and activation points as these energies begin to wake up in you, okay? In order to facilitate the transformation, the change that is inevitable. You see, change is inevitable, So, yes, I was looking for a tune here, and just want to play something, break it up a little, y'all. And yeah, well, these things are taking a long time to open up. All right, so yeah.
I think it's appropriate. I played it last Tuesday. I'm gonna play it again today. All right, this evening. All right. So, cause it's pertinent. You know what I'm saying? It's also the lyrics and tracks. That I like to play music for. So. Mm, all right, y'all. Tune into this. Whoa, I got a call coming through. Greetings. Whoa. All right, all right. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Come on now. Oh, yo, yo, yo. Greetings.
Peace, beloved. I can't. Yo, it's dead air coming out. No music's playing.
Really?
Right? Yes, really. For the
Okay.
last 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Alright, so that's why I was trying to call you before and text you.
Okay, thank you. I'm live on air at the moment, so maybe this is all being heard. But thank you for that. Yeah.
It is. I can hear us.
Yeah.
Alright. But at least
Okay, but how you doing? How you doing? You been tuning in so far, right? Yeah.
yes. Hold on here. Hold on a second. I wanna
Are we getting
stop.
feedback?
Yeah, I was stopping the feedback. Yeah, I've been listening in. Sounding great as usual. Pertinent reminders all the while.
Yeah.
Just giving thanks, but you played a track. I don't know what track you were playing, but we couldn't hear it.
Oh,
So
really?
like,
Oh man, you see, this is what going live. This is why there's no acting, no rehearsals, y'all. This is live, people. You know what I'm saying? So the things that can happen,
yeah.
But Sister Jadusha, I mean, um, I don't know how you feel right at this moment, but you always have something very complimentary. You're in tune with all of this yourself. So, anything you would like to share while you're here with the with our
with
soul
your
brothers and
listeners.
sisters? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, I would just echo what you're saying in terms of, just staying present. I mean, there's a lot of shifts are going on right now. People are waking up in the droves. People are still asleep in the droves too. Key is not to get too distracted. Definitely don't get distracted by criticizing others and fault finding and complaining, because as you said earlier, as you think, so it is.
Yeah.
However you nurture your mind, whatever you give your focus and attention to, you are helping to perpetuate or keep in place or to call into manifestation. So be impeccable with where you place your imagination and your spoken word powers.
Yes.
And definitely resist the lust to complain. Because it's so tempting. There's so much not going great, but we don't walk in our power, so to speak, and acknowledge the power behind our words, especially if there's some emotion at the back of the words.
Exactly.
And real belief and real knowingness at the back of the words. You're pretty much casting more of the same spell. So, but a lot of people aren't in full awareness of the power they possess. And like you said, we have been conditioned to be extremely reliant on external sources. We go outside of ourselves for everything. So if you turn to someone and say, yo, the answer's in you, and you got all the answers, you are all knowing, you're God, baby. They're like, that's like you're talking heebie-jeebie stuff. But the power's in the stillness, in breathing deeply, really giving yourself detox through breathing, where you breathe into your stomach, your diaphragm, and when you're breathing out, you completely squeeze the abdomen in, oxygenating your organs and your brain, and even chanting Om, just to center, and you'll be so surprised what comes through, because that kind of action, your intention is to help yourself, and the universe is like, oh, you want to help you? Oh, I'll help you with that.
That's right.
It's whatever you put your mind towards, God got your back, or the omniverse got your back, whatever you want to call it.
That's right.
All that is, So yeah, just take full accountability and responsibility. I know it's a hard pill to swallow, to accept that you have everything to do with what's going on in your life. You may want to say, oh, what were you trying to say? I want this, and I want all of these things to happen to me. Get a real attitude about it. And I can appreciate of that, because I've outgrown that chapter.
Yeah.
Where it didn't make sense. That I've got this going on, I've got that going on, I'm not at peace, I'm not having an easy time, and you want me to take responsibility for this? So, and that means looking in the mirror and saying, okay, so where has my mind been? What kind of conversations have I been having?
Seriously?
What kind of movies am I watching? What kind of music am I listening to? What kind of, where do I place myself? What's the energy like of my close ones? So you can start to see the threads that are contributing to where you're at right now. Because in order to change it, you have to have the confidence to let some stuff go, or to make some changes about yourself. One of my children said, she didn't feel good. She was moping around. I said, what's the matter, baby? She's like, I just don't feel happy. I said, what are you not happy about? I don't know. So I said, okay. teenagers, hormones.
Yeah, yes.
So I said to her, okay, well, how about you just smile? You don't have to show your teeth. It's just a little inner smile, just a little effort to trick your body, because your body responds to whatever messages you send it. But all this slunking and sloping is going to attract stuff to make you slunk and slope some more. So you got to tell your body that it's happy even though you're not. And she did it. And she came home skipping. And she said, Mom, I shifted my attitude. I had a great day. And
look at that.
It's simple, yeah.
You see,
simple solution.
Yeah, and you see, when I was saying about the child, I was saying, when people says, when we've heard in the scripture, you have to become like a child again, to enter the kingdom of heaven, and which is your inner kingdom, your inner heavens, your inner source of being, and that kind of never really gets properly explained, but it's about. When the child, before we receive all this cluttering in our minds and all these beliefs and resentment and prejudice and, what I'm saying, ambition, what you're going to be when you grow up, you got to be this, you got to be that, all of these ego drive type of directive stuff. Before all of that was accumulated in a child's mind, the child's mind is open with wonder, right? Very receptive and very impressionable. And so when you said now, she's able to receive the positive statement, the positive suggestion you gave her, and then she applied it, and look at it. You see what I mean? You see, it was self-evident. She proved it to herself that she can direct her own mind with her what she tells her mind to think, her feelings to feel. The body responds to it, knows every cell in your body knows everything you're thinking and feeling. And she raised her vibrations, and she did this from within the power in herself. Now, children would easily see when we accumulate all of these beliefs, conditioning, and so forth. You can't receive them things there now. You see what I mean? Too much.
Yeah, the elders, we become set in our ways.
Mindset.
We become we become very stagnant and stale, and we see what we've seen, we've experienced what we've experienced, and we know what we know. This is the truth. But we're not recognizing that anything you think becomes truth, because ye are gods. So if you think it's a pile of doo-doo, it's a pile of doo-doo. If you think it's loving light, it's loving light. Like you said, you're going to get whatever you believe on a molecular structure. And we have been conditioned from birth. So the workship is for us to deprogram and recondition and reconstruct our being, self-mastery.
That's right.
And the beauty that we are able to do through having life experiences is to help these children transmute the energies and wake up quicker than we ever did. As our parents, my parents, shouldn't really disclose my age. I'm in my 40s, so I've been here for a while, and I can see the temptation to grip onto what I've always known, but through my studies, I've learned to get back into the flow, and it's alleviated my person. I've healed my body. I've changed the frequency of my home. Because my children, I noticed they feed off me. If I'm not good, they're not good. I'm the matriarch. I set the tone and frequency of this household. So stressed out parents are creating and influencing stressed out children. And we cannot expect these children to do better when we ourselves are not even prepared to discipline ourselves and curtail our addictions and our behavior and patterns and so forth. So I have to get about doing the work myself before I could even attempt to ask my children to do what I expect them to do. Because they're going to,
be the example, as you say,
And also it taught me how not easy it was, and it inspired more patience from me.
Maturity, you see, patience.
Yeah.
Maturing.
Yeah. it's a liberty, it's a journey. It's not a destination.
Yes.
And to get off of this life-death cycle, it's a choice as to whether or not we're going to choose to liberate ourselves and reclaim our divinity.
Yeah.
And in order to reclaim your divinity, you have to know yourself. You have to look into how your physio and anatomy work and how it's interconnected with all that is.
There you
that
go.
You're an electromagnetic being, and there's infinite layers and infinite ways to interpret this whole all that is, all space, matter, and time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, astrology. You can find beauty, you can find lessons everywhere. So
that's right. The all's in all.
Yep.
The all in all. Yeah.
Thank you so much for always. I've studied for years, but it's never too much. I will always listen to your shows, even if you're telling me what I already know, because it supports my cells.
Right.
Going into my subconscious and because it's about nurturing your nature.
Yes.
Because you program yourself for so long until it becomes automatic. Just like the stuff that we don't want to do is automatic. You got to keep putting the good in.
That's right. And what you just said there, nurturing your nature. You see that? The nature of source is the nature of self. Source is love. Yourself is love. Nurture yourself with love. Nurture yourself with, you know what I'm saying? Which is not your nature. You see? So, nurture your nature. That's what you said, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and nourish it. And nourish it with positive thoughts and emotional patterns,
Yeah. And it's not just enough to be a vegan. It's not enough to just read and regurgitate knowledge. It's not just enough to be a yoga master. It's not just enough to be a breatharian. We have to balance all aspects, our whole being.
This is
if you nurture your mind and you align yourself to a higher frequency of thought, your choices become of a higher frequency. So obviously you're gonna choose better food. You're gonna be a conscious creator, a conscious consumer, a conscious
producer.
Just a conscious being. So,
Whoa.
It cannot be just, I'm vegan, I'm better than you, or I read all these books and I know everything about this, so no, dear. You have to balance your whole being, because there's a lot of angry vegans out there, and there's a lot of angry birtharians. It's not the one. Yeah,
angry yoga teachers.
So we have to look at things from a holistic perspective and take care of every level so that our body is just in harmony.
That's right.
And one of the master tricks, I love chat. One of the master tricks.
Same like I, so carry on. You know what I mean?
One of the master tricks for me is speaking in present tense.
Yes.
Because, all the prophets that are perpetuated, like the prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and Jesus, and Asur, and Haru, and have you, they spoke in present tense.
Yes, man, I am.
And they had high ideals. Yeah. So I am all-knowing. I am perfect. I am effervescent joy. I am sublime health. I speak life into my being.
Yes.
I'm this, I'm that. People are using I am without reverence, without awareness, So use your power wisely. The 4 agreements, be impeccable with your word.
That's right.
Always do your best. Not because someone's paying you or watching you, but because the scriptures of your soul are being read, and every impulse of your being is being conveyed to the omniverse and answered in abundance. So if you aren't taking care of that, and that's all you got to do is take care of you.
That's right. And that's your nature. Everything you just said down there, sir, is the true nature. When we're saying I am, there's a part in scripture where it says, "Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. He who does shall not be held guiltless." And there's a saying where it goes, "Let the weak say that I am strong. Let the weak say I am strong." Yeah. So this, and then even with Christ representing awakened consciousness, as Buddha does, as Shiva, as the others you mentioned, is to realize that source is not past, not future. Source is timeless, so therefore there's no age. Yeah. Source is always now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where the name now, I am, and everybody have the I am. Everybody has that I am I within themselves. So when you're taking the name of name of the Lord in vain, it's taking the name of the source in yourself in vain. When you're saying things like I am, all negative type of connotation, self-condemning statements. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's a spell casting.
Yeah.
Cast spells on each other all the time. And another thing that's really poignant that you touched on before, and that has been coming through a lot recently, in terms of this double art cycle and everything coming into balance at the moment, as it always is, really.
Yes.
But the psychic attacking.
Oui.
So, yeah. So, say now, in 19 when you did me something, yeah? You did me something in 19 when. I mean, I like you for that, Yeah, I don't like you for that.
Really
and I've been carrying these feelings, this dead weight of baggage for the last 20, 30 years. There's something growing, manifesting under that, but I'm not, you could be or may not be aware of it, right? Because that cancer is rooted in grief, deep hurt, and unforgiveness. So if you could cut out till the cows come home, but if you haven't let go of that frequency, but anyway, aside from that, so you did me something in 19 when, and you've resurfaced. I just seen you recently. I see you for like 20 years, or maybe 5 years, or 6 weeks, or 2 weeks, whatever the case may be. And you stepped to me, you said, "You know what, Jay, I'm sorry about back in the day when blah blah happened, and I'm really progressing with my life. I've been doing some study and I'm turning my life around and blah blah blah." And I'm just like, in my judgment, like whatever, you could say whatever. I know what your life is. People don't change their spots. That's what's going on.
Yeah, but you're putting the change spot. Yeah.
I'm psychically attacking you, right? So even though you're coming to me with love and light, you step away now. You're telling me about you starting a new business and you got all of these things planned. You're putting it in a very swineful place because I mean I really like you, but you're just being love and light, but it's really being careless with your sacred energy, right? You're telling me all your business and your secrets and your goals and manifestation, and there's a thread of energy between us. So when you walk away from me now, I may go to my sister or my best friend and say, "Yeah, so Siayome turn up and him come tell me about this and him saying he's gonna start a business and blah blah," and I just talk a whole bunch of non-positive stuff towards your business, and I hope it doesn't do this, and I hope this don't happen. Pure psychic projections. Now, before you talk to me, things were going smooth. You wake up next morning now, your computer ain't working properly, something this, and you're like, what's really going on? What's with my flow? You understand? Like there's static in the air, right? And this is something we have to come into awareness. Number one.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Don't hold the cloud of the past over people's head. One, when you judge, you become what you're judging. So you will be faced with the same lesson. You'll get to look in the mirror and acknowledge that you too are human, are a being of light that is susceptible to the same type of things any other soul is susceptible on this planet. Yeah, humble yourself before you're going around judging. And the Omniverse says, "Let vengeance be mine."
Yeah.
Relax
Says the
yourself.
Lord.
Don't.
That's it.
Why are you trying to avenge and carry feelings?
Yeah.
Everybody makes their own bed, so you don't have to worry. Vengeance is the universe. Vengeance is the universe. It just everybody gets what they put out.
Exactly.
It's the law. I ain't gotta carry around no burdens, you know.
That's right. That's right.
And when you carry, it's like on someone those intentions, you hold yourself back. That's called self-sabotage.
Yeah. You see.
And the person.
Carry on. Finish. You was gonna say.
I was gonna say that the person who confides, like I like to be quietly productive. I don't talk my business to people because I've learned not everybody's in your corner 1,000%, and some people are warriors by nature. They worry. And they hope that this don't happen, and they hope that doesn't happen. Not because they want to sabotage your thing, but because they genuinely care, but they don't know the science.
So the
laws of nature.
Yeah. So they're sabotaging their things or counterproductive with their thinking, not realizing what they're doing. Yeah.
Yes. So it's about understanding the movement of energy, how energy works, and getting in harmony with yourself and meticulous with what you're saying, what you're thinking, and your actions, and what you're doing and why you're doing it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Knowing thyself. It's about spiritual self-mastery. You see, what you're talking about there, about the psychic attacks, you see, I'm going to do a show on that, yeah? And I'm going to continue, actually could go into some of that as well, because these things is real. But, telepathic energy transference, the fact that your thoughts are electric and the feeling emotional aspect is magnetic. And what we send out electrically comes back to us magnetically through the magnetic impulse, our feelings. You see what I'm saying? So as you know, really this is the whole thing. We need to know the science of our own selves. See? Knowing our true nature would enable us to understand the laws of the universe, that is the laws of our being, and how to direct and operate within harmony with the divine intelligence and its nature, which is our very nature. You see what I'm saying? Which is always creative, productive. Everything is positive, dealing with health, growth, nourishment, nutrition, regeneration, healing, and providing the fulfillment of every need and protection, all within a harmonious system of law and order, right? In alignment. The thoughts are in alignment with oneself. Now, energy transfers. We are receiver transmitters. We are, and if we was to understand that most of the technology that we are utilizing are actually mimicking the spiritual technology of our own selves, which is why it's so important to get to know thyself, in the sense when I says, if you don't know the creator, you don't know yourself. And if you don't know yourself, you don't know the creator. You see what I'm saying? This is the true type. It's not about, the labels people want to walk around and hold themselves onto, when it's like, that's not your source of being, man. So if you don't know the God, if I want to simplify that, you don't know yourself. And if you don't know yourself, you don't know God. So, though the goodness, you see, of what God actually does really mean, yeah? But the thing is here, is that a lot of people ignore these things. And the truth of the matter, people have they have this intuitive awareness still, when we chat about, we're feeling vibes. Do you feel that vibe, And we know this stuff is real, but it's about the self-responsibility, and people don't realize the consequences of what they're doing. And then you have those who do know, and they will go, and this is where we end up getting the negative aspects of what people then call it witchcraft or obia, or candle magic and all this and this and that, because of the the intention people use these things for, man, And all of this, everything that you're doing is still working through with the laws of the universe. All vibrations, you're dealing with like vibrations attract like vibrations. So you have people that do have a negative emotional pattern. The way them feel about themselves is what them internalize and how them
out picture in them world and how them feel about you. You see what I'm saying? Yeah? You know, things that can bring out people's jealousy or resentment if people are carrying those type of things around, non-forgiveness, holding on to things, and believing that they don't, you know, suppressing these things and things are like, oh, because I'm not showing it, saying anything, you can't, you know, it's just there in a cost box, you know, lock up. When it's vibrational energy that is still radiating from your subconscious and it's going out, and those who are in tune with themselves can feel the energies coming off of other people. You see what I'm saying? As well as knowing what energy they are dealing with. You see?
And a lot of people aren't aware as well that 80% of what you emit comes from the subconscious.
You see?
And only less than 20% is from the conscious mind.
There you go.
So that's why how you nurture yourself is paramount. Because if you got a load of violent music and sexual music and violent and sex and everything, just all your entertainment is in your subconscious. If that's all you have as your resources, it's no wonder you get driven by your desires and that you can barely control yourself. You have to put information inside your being that teaches you who and what you are and how you work best, so that you can make aligned choices.
There you go.
Real talk, bro.
You understand? Because all of these things that's going on, people don't want to take no responsibility. These things are rife, and then they want to turn around and says, oh, some God make it happen or something. They don't want to say, look, when you're bad minding somebody, you're not just talking into a box and it's not going anywhere, you know? You're sending out these frequencies to the subconscious, and the other person is picking up those frequencies consciously or unconsciously, and it's having a conscious or unconscious effect, cause and effect, which is either for the best. For if you're sending out good vibes, then it's either for the good or the ill, and this is happening all the time. You know, don't switch it off.
No matter what you're saying, your ears are the first to hear it. You see your own thoughts.
You're observing them.
So it's coming to you first, and your cells are going to be like, "Oh, really? I'm a dumbass," or I'm a, you know.
Yeah, because what goes around comes around. You know, cause and effects. You know. So yes, we're gonna have to do a show on this one, you know, because. You know, some people may feel uncomfortable thinking, oh, this is the occult, or, you know, get afraid of these type of things, when they themselves is actually the vessels that these energies work through, you know? And you're either being, you know, you either have a positive influence on someone or you're having a negative influence on them, you know? Energies affect energies. When you're interacting with someone, they're gonna, or you have to be aware that your energy can get affected. You're going to feel a change in your energy, you see? And sometimes it's a good exchange, good vibes, the harmonic interference with the frequencies that you put emitting. But if there's a destructive, people walk with different intentions. Not everybody is even walking with, you know, you can feel people's hostility. It's not everybody walking with your best intention at all. So,
you know I would like for you to do a show on to get more clarity on is those tones that they're putting out into the ethers while people are sleeping, and how they're impacting people, and why people feel as that they feel like it's not easy to progress and think straight. You know, remember we spoke about that a while back?
Yeah, because there was this sign that with their scientific they know that every thought has a frequency, every emotion has a frequency, and I think we was talking about that, isn't it? And they send out these frequencies that emit a particular emotion, like they can send out energy of hate and just build up this irritation, people feeling it themselves, and they don't know, well, I feel this, and they keep pumping it until it builds to a certain point. You know, people are feeling, you know, restless energy, you know, irritation. And then they use an event, like something then pop on the news. You know, they always have some event which is a trigger to activate the emotional state that they have been saturating people in through the frequency on that of that emotion that they've been transmitting. And then you see people react, and you see a big thing explode.
And
And the people
it's
who
all
are most susceptible to
there you
these
go.
explosions are people who do not know themselves. You
Yeah.
become invincible when you know yourself, because you know that you are aligned with all frequencies of light, all frequencies of sound, which is also light. So the knowledge being all the more powerful. It's amazing that people aren't aware of how purposeful this whole system is designed. I was having a conversation about young people and how the young people aren't, that there's a necessary requirement for increase in peace. And I said, these young people, we have to have compassion, because not only have they inherited how their parents feel at the time of creation, and the beliefs that are stored in the parents' DNA, what they're carrying forward, the fears or the doubts or the greatness or the whatever. But then you're bored, and prayerfully you're not allowing nobody to jab your child with poisons and pus and mercury and feces and call it vaccination. I'm so proud of people waking up to this free healthcare in the Caribbean, where they're like, no, we don't want that. You make America pay and you want to send it to us for free? No, we learned about the Tuskegee. We done learned that lesson. We ain't trying to relearn the same stale lesson. And I'm so proud that finally we'll have the gumption to say no. Thank you. And your real medicine is the earth.
The real medicine is all around them.
Yes.
And within them.
But the children, from birth till date, the schooling, the government, the music, the video games, the food, every angle, the fizzy drink, the liquids that they're consuming, all streams of media, it's constant barragement. And it's necessary for them to hold captive the minds of these children. Because if you give them 5 minutes of still time, they will start having epiphanies. That's the magic of carbon, what people call melanin. Yeah? It's a high conductor, and you start to wake up very quickly. So that's why they perpetuate the drugs and self-medicine. Any little problem, they're giving these children pills.
Medication.
It's diabolical. When all you have to do
drug them up
is take your child out to the countryside, you as a parent turn off your phone, them as a child turn off their and reason with your youth. And sit on the grass, lie on the grass in the bush and let the electrons heal you. That's very simple. Walk barefoot in the sand, in the sea. It's all there. Everything is there for us. We dwell in abundance.
You see, all everything, everything you say is the beliefs, though. This is where. So anyway, yes, absolutely what you're saying, because that's it. That it is so, and this is why.
It just needs to be woken up to what is all these contributing factors, the history and legacy. We're not complaining. We're just making it clear to you. And whereas we used to lynch you before, and all these powers, the so-called powers that be, the negative and the positive discharges, all in perfect and divine order. It helps us to build our mental muscles. It's giving us an opportunity to emancipate ourselves, not to depend on this man, white man, to change for things to get better.
Anything outside,
all of this doo-doo. No, you have to change.
That's
the change you want to see in the world, create that ripple of frequency.
That's right.
And that's the legacy that you leave.
You see the energies, you see what is being talked, and the energy is being activated within. It's all what's coming out is all reflective, because it is this, the energy is saying, listen, man, change is imminent. So you have to, it's like that's where everything is getting pushed, So this is why there's so much tension, and this is why there's so much, intense things that's gonna have to bust things out, you see? things have to come up from the unconscious to become conscious in order to be able to now integrate what you've been suppressing. You know, own your power, reclaim yourself. You know.
The whole system is gonna completely fall.
Well, it's falling already. We're in a fallen system right now.
The best gift that we can give to ourselves is to know that you are fully equipped with what you require, where you stand or where you sit or where you lay.
And this is why I have to know the nature of source. Yeah.
It's very, very poignant because they've spoilt, in England specifically, speaking where we're residing currently.
Yeah.
They've spoiled people by, you know, the national health, free medical care, free benefits, social, whatever they call it, get your bills paid. But now they're pulling all of that away, yeah? And these people are left without skills. They haven't cerebralized much on anything. So therefore their brain is lethargic and slow. So you just left them in a quandary. They're completely vulnerable. And because they don't know how to ignite themselves or how to turn themselves on, they're basically setting people up to not succeed. But those who do know themselves, they're going to be the eye in the storm. Yeah. They will be the ones that are helping the masses to recalibrate and come back together and be planting seeds of bright ideas into the consciousness. I don't know why we have to come to such deep life lessons before we can just wake up to beauty. Like it has to be so, it always has to be, anyway, let me not.
No, I get you. My sister, listen, gonna have to.
Thank you for the reasoning.
Yeah, thank you as well, my sister. You know, it's always a pleasure. You know, and you know, you spark and activate things in I where I'm like, I could be talking about that. You know what I mean? But it's like I'm focusing on something else, and then so. I love these reasonings, and I love what you're sharing, and there is, folks, our soul brothers and sisters, is those on the wavelength can get the nourishment, you see, nurturing the nature, nourishing our nature, realizing what our true nature is, and start to get in tune with that, and to see why the love vibration and even joy, which is higher than love. And remember, we were talking one time when we are dealing with when we're dealing with the, like, for example, coming from Committed Tree of Life, when we're dealing with Asar, our true nature, remember? And I think there was Ra'u Nefer who, in one of his talks, and was saying, look, our true nature is peace, or the harmony, equilibrium, balance, peace. And we move from peace to pleasure and from pleasure to peace. Yeah?
Yes.
But we're living in a system that when you're not knowing your true nature, and make you think, say, is the nature of man to want to kill one another, and you start to take that in, or self-condemning statements based upon some, man-made construct of original sin, to then internalize these self-disappreciating and condemning judgmental inner talk, beliefs, mindset, feelings, and it's like, so then you have this, then in psychology there's this whole thing about pleasure and pain, and you're moving from pleasure to pain, and you're running from the pain to the pleasure, but then next minute pain become pleasure. Right?
That's why my program is equilibrium in the 21st century. Because equilibrium means balance, because the ecstatic is way up, and then in order to come into balance, you're gonna have to go maybe feel depressed for a day or two. You may find yourself crying because it's too way up there. Yeah, joy is fine, but when you're like, wee, you have to come into equilibrium. So that's why the power is from peace to pleasure. When things are going my way, I'm at peace. and then I'm having pleasure.
In the
When it's
moment,
not going my way, I'm at peace.
back to peace.
It's
That's
not,
it.
angry for this. Because if I'm, it's too much static. The equalizer will be up and down, rather than just
Return to balance, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But that's the natural state, That's the natural state. Peace is that harmony and balancement, wholeness, So returning back to the natural state, and then we experience pleasure from that state and return back to the source of even where pleasure come from, which is in that
I'm so
harmonious
thankful
balance.
to have a beacon of light on the planet named Siayome. Give thanks. And on that note, I'll leave you to it.
All right, my
Peace and
sister.
love, beloved.
Yes, you too, beloved. All right. Take care. All right.
Bless.
Bless. Yes. Are you? Yes, you can hear me, y'all? Yes. I'll put my mic up too. Well, there you had beautiful soul, Jadusha Shine. Yeah. See, always sharing the good things. And what she says, nourishing our nature, you see, and nourishing on our nature, to know our true nature and nourish our nature with what our nature is of, what is best for our nature, you see. And this is the thing, when we are dealing with the love, the harmony, the health, prosperity, speak these things into yourself, I am love, I am harmony, I am peace, I am balance, I am beauty, I am health, I am success, I am wealth and prosperity, I am strong. You see, because how we use the name of source in ourselves. When I was mentioning about not using the name of the Lord in vain, what that means is that whatever you use and say, when you use the term I am, when you're saying to yourself, I am, whatever you add to I am will be added onto you. So using the name of the Lord, which is your own inner being, all right, of the divine essence, we're using the name of the Lord in vain, and he who does so shall not be held guiltless. What that means now says that when you now say, you use the word I am, and then you add weak to it, or you add stupid, or you're not good at something, you're not good as you're not even good enough, and you add those statements to I am, you are taking the name of the Lord in vain, because what's happening now is that those things you're adding, those negative things you're adding to I am, will be added onto you. And this is what it means. He who uses the name of the Lord in vain will not be held guiltless. What it means is that what you add onto I am will be added onto you. So if you use the name in vain and you start to use it, add all these negative things, these untrue things, these things which is not of the truth of I am, then you understand, you're doing yourself a disservice. So to be impeccable means when it says not to sin, and then sin means not to miss the mark. So in the 4 agreements that came up, what was highlighted with Sister Jadusha, mentioned there with the, being impeccable with your word, it means not sinning, and sinning means not to miss the mark, or sin means miss the mark. That's what I mean. Excuse me. But here, so being impeccable with your word means this: you don't use words against yourself. You use words for yourself, words that nourish yourself, words that are praising and positive to yourself. They're nourishing. They're more nutritious. But if you're going to be, so to be impeccable means do not use words of sin. Do not sin against yourself. Do not use words that miss the mark. Because it was an old archer's term as well, in the English old time,
where if an archer missed the bullseye, them say him sin because he missed the mark, or if he missed what he was to be hitting, he sinned because he missed the mark. You see, but you see how that word sin get connotated to some, exaggerated out the, with this original sin business, right? Originally missing the mark. Well, so that don't make no sense. You see, right? But a lot of people believe in this original sin, and this is where, and this idea of their relationship with what this God that they believe in means that they don't know themselves and they don't know God, because the nature of God, what they say, God is good. Yeah. Well, if God is good and all is God, then there's all goodness. See? But you see, the whole thing there now is going back to now dealing with the name of the source. Yeah, that which is the, represents the absolute. I am. So what you even just said, what so simply starting with something that one can work with, to raise your frequency in yourself. And it's not just saying I am from a mental level, it's about getting into the deeper, subjective level of yourself, where your thoughts become feelings. And it's how you feel about I am. You see, how you feel about yourself at the deepest level in your heart. Yeah. This is what is the vibration that is what you're then actually being in the frequency of. See? So the thing is when you're saying I am, it's not a statement that just remains, oh, I am, and thing. It's a thing that you have to get into the feeling. Entering into the spirit, yeah, of the truth of thyself is entering into the feeling of the word. That's the spirit of the word, not the letter of the word. Yeah. So you have, so I am is very powerful, but you have something in plain sight right within your own self. I am. Everybody have the I am within himself. I am I. I am I. I as the awareness. You see it? So that I am. What you add to I am is added onto you. You see? So think about that and consider that, And as I was saying earlier about the energies and how they're very rampant and, what it's activating within people, collectively, individually, and with the relationships we have, and, it's all energy, it's all, but as people are also carrying things in their deepest parts of themselves, emotions, suppressed, negative emotions, meaning they're not nurturing, they're not constructive feelings. And these things have to come up in order to be purged, seeing out. But you have to understand, you have to own your own things you have suppressed in yourself. And many people don't own what they're having at themselves. And they don't realize how these energies also go out to be emitted and interfere with other people, seeing, while they're, so walking around with these suppressed resentment, for example, or jealousy and envy and, things, rage, revenge, all of them things. And this is where you're dealing with psychic attacks, what me and Jadusha brought up as, a real thing to be aware of without getting all afraid and, oh my gosh, when you talk, it's like, look, man, you have to get real with things and you have to deal with things without having to be afraid of everything you hear that is new to you or something that you have been made to believe is something you must be afraid of, when you need to understand yourself, you see, that these things really are going on. I'm hearing some interference here. Who is this? Messing with the microphone. But anyway, it is time for come to a wrap up now, because yeah, it's about that time again. So there is a serious need to change, you see, and the universal forces are, it's pushing it. It's not something you can run away from, but many people resist change. And change has to start within in order for the change you want to see in the mirror, the environmental mirror, the environmental around you. Yeah, it has to start within self. I mean, some things need to be repeated, A lot of things, in fact, a lot of things need to be repeated. If it's something positive and good, nourishing the soul, then it's good to be repeated because being reminded is more of really what's going on with us. You're not really learning nothing. You're being reminded of the truth of who you really are when you resonate with information that you hear and feel, say, well, yeah, this activated something in I, is because you already possess that inner knowing. You already possess the knowledge, what you're hearing being transmitted to you. And it's a remembrance, see? And that's why you recognize, yeah, I get that. Because you already have that info in yourself, that knowing, that knowledge, you understand? That awareness. So it's a reminder, it's a remembering, you know? So it's like remembering yourself coming back together, back to your wholeness, and realizing the point of contact is within you. The ultimate connection is within. And this is the emphasis that's gonna be more um amplified and intensified and gonna have to be realized as things increase, because this looking outside the exterior for leaders and somebody to tell you what to believe and reading all them anyway, that's not what it is, that's not what it is. This is about experiential knowledge, yeah. And if we walk through this and have an open heart and open mind, you understand, because it's about returning to the wholeness of yourself. And I did talk about it on a show about new moon in Libra, which is about relationship with ourselves. And Libra is about balancement, love, harmony, beauty. You know what I'm saying? And that's really our intrinsic nature. When you're an integrated being, when you come back to your wholeness, even the word health means wholeness, So it's about really remembering your natural state, your true nature, and then nourish that nature with the thoughts that are in alignment with the truth of your nature. So when you're saying I am, you're saying I am strong, I am love, I am all the positive virtuous things of the boundless goodness of all that your heart desires. You already is that. You already have it all. But you have to activate it in yourself. You see what I mean? By knowing the sense of your being and how you're working with your energy and understand the universal spiritual laws of the universe, which is the law of your being. So things are gonna take a next deeper depth and dive to, as more of this level of things gonna be really talked about, and understanding how the manipulation of consciousness is semetic, it is systematic, yeah, or systemic. So what it is organized and so forth, But the thing is just when you wake up to understand the science of yourself, then nobody can control you. You see? When you know the truth of yourself and you stand in that power. So the universal tides is bringing these energies in more increase and intense to bring up all what's activate energies inside the collective individual and support to facilitate and bring forth this transformation and this change, because it's about the divine plan, not the carnal mind plan, the material man, plan. This is the divine intelligence plan, and it's about to get with it, So, yes, so on that note, I'm going to say yes, good shadow hours, and yeah, I'll go catch you up next Tuesday on the Cosmic Root Show. And yeah, wish you all the best.